Hey, it is Friday the 13th in March, just like we had one in February. And this has been a really interesting week. At least, well, I don't know, for me. I was just looking at the list of stuff that of lessons we put out this week, and it has to be one of the most diverse sets of things. And I'm sure that a few of these came completely from nowhere. I got to tell you the story behind that, and this is of course Terrapin by Syd Barrett, and I've mentioned before that first of all, I have a pretty big library of stuff, and a lot of it I don't listen to very often, but I also listen to this internet radio station, 3WK, that just plays, oh man, the other day I heard stuff by Status Quo and the Groundhogs, and the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Orchestra, wait a minute, yeah, anyway. They play Camel, and anyway, all kinds of cool stuff. And frequently something pops on there, and I think, oh man, I haven't thought about that song in 74 years. Or since 1974, maybe. And that was one of them. I heard Syd Barrett's Terrapin, and I thought, that's a really off-the-wall tune. I got to do a lesson on that, just because it's kind of unusual, and it's got... With this songwriting thing that's been going on for a while, I've been fascinated by progressions that are outside of the ordinary. And Syd did a lot of this. So here we have an E major chord going to a G major chord. That's unusual enough. Doing it again, lands on A minor. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. And then we have a D and an E7, and finally lands on A major. Oh, I shouldn't give this whole thing away. You gotta go watch the lesson. And then... Anyway, Syd didn't really know what he was doing musically, but managed to put some chords together and tons of his songs are like this. Not that there are even tons of songs, but from the two albums in 1970, the Madcap Laughs and Barrett, really unusual things. So, John, I really appreciate your comment on there about surprised that might be on my radar. Oh, and then I was even more surprised with this lesson when I thought, I wonder, I was pretty sure there weren't going to be any live versions of Syd playing it, but I searched for it and found Gilmour playing it. I had no idea that David Gilmour had done this after, and that kind of cemented the deal. I thought, oh man, if we can reference this song to David Gilmour, it's a done deal. So there was one of our unusual chord progression songs for the week. I have a few others I'm going to play for you in a minute, and now on the basic progression thing, and this one really falls more into the category of what you guys should be thinking about as songwriters. When I first heard these couple of chords in here, reminded me of actually what I was just working on last night with one of my students. Throws in one little twist. get the idea. Sorry, I got carried away just a little self-jamming here going on. So, I want to thank Vanessa for putting together this Eddie Vedder tune Society that as soon as I heard those first couple of chords, I thought, just like John Lennon. But, totally different story and very cool tune. So, but on the really basic and simple side of chord progressions, you know? You throw together a few chords and you come up with a cool melody and you come up with a cool story and all of a sudden, your song's in a soundtrack and you're rich and famous. So, anyway, so that was one of the songs that we did. Now, of course, we also had a little continuation of Heliotrope, the difficult part of Heliotrope Bouquet. I'm going to try to play this with a pick in my hand. What am I thinking? Wait a minute. Need a full bar on that, huh? I should have thought this through better. I hadn't planned on playing this. Okay, wait. Great example. Pre-flight check. Fingers started playing, brain had not been engaged. I was thinking about getting this stupid pick out of my hand while I started picking. Okay, Heliotrope, section C. Should sound something like this. A beat there? I think so. Anyway, I was thinking about something else because I really had planned to show you some other examples of there's something that very basic chord progression, speaking of which, but very complicated melody and arrangement that all goes along with it. What I really want to talk about though was a couple of the other songs that had unusual chord progressions. Wait, have I gotten to everyone? No. Now Colors, then our Donovan song. Another thing of how simple it can be with 3 chords and put together a nice melody and maybe play it in an open tuning as I discovered in the middle of the lesson with Ed. You know, hadn't quite been on that page. I'm not sure if even in the lesson on that I did it in the open E. Probably not, but I'm sure somebody could track that down if it matters or if anybody cares. This one, I gotta do it with my fingers, I think. Gotta find the right chords too. Think about this. That's a D chord with a G sharp in it. You gotta be kidding me. Well, anyway, great example, as I've been talking about, of unusual chord progressions and unusual modulations that are just really cool. That was, of course, Beatles. You're going to lose that girl. And we probably have 50 Beatles songs up here by now, and there are another 200 probably that have unusual things happening in the chords. Maybe not 200, because there are at least a dozen that are pretty straightforward rock and roll songs, one after 909. They still have an unusual thing in that, though. Okay, what else I was going to do, though, here was show you a couple of other really unusual chord progressions. From a couple of angles. One here's one that is very simple. Matter of fact, oh man, what a tie-in with the Beatles. Uh-oh. Need a bass player. So, I'm sure everybody recognizes that. Well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of you, a lot of the old timers know this and probably know the connection to the Beatles with that. I'm going to end with, well, let's see if there's any other announcements I have. Got a little bit of camp info, but I'll save that for a camp announcement. So, the sign-ups have been going great, by the way, and I really want to welcome. We got our first sign-up yesterday from somebody who attended the first camp and didn't attend the second camp. And so that was really cool. We also have had a lot of new people. Well, I'll save camp news for later, for a camp video that I promised last week too, and I didn't do that. But we are getting closer to making all those camp videos available to the IGC members, the people that have joined. So don't forget, if you sign up for the camp, okay, this wasn't going to be a camp commercial. Never mind. If you sign up for the camp, don't forget you get a lifetime access to all the videos, including Al Stewart and Muriel Anderson and Alex DeGrassi and all that stuff. Okay, spot this one. I know Chaz, you're going to get this. Hey, I hope you're out there, by the way, because I know you asked about that other song earlier too. Do we miss your column, buddy? Well, okay. This is an example of a progression that you just can't imagine making a great melody out of, because it just keeps changing keys. Finally lands there, and now starts again nearby. Wait, that was wrong. Let me try it again. It goes here. Oh yeah, it's because it's the same progression in a different key. Now another key. And now lands here. You gotta be kidding me. Thought about trying to play the melody with this. Now finally, we get into a key without all those bar chords. This is going to be enough. This is the first 2 minutes of Anyway, okay, there's one to show that some really unusual things can be done with chord progressions and turned into great little melodies. So, I think that's it. See anything else I want to go through today? We have unusual time signatures and that stuff. Why? Oh, this came up with a student the other day. Oh, another of our first year campers that's been taking lessons from me. Well, I'll save that story for another day too. of songs go just like this. 2-chord songs. We got Donovan's, we have Stephen Stills, we've got Dave Mason's, all those great 2-chord songs. E7, A7, can't go wrong with them. Okay, next week, hope to have another songwriting challenge. That's kind of on my dock of things to do. And what else is going on in March? The rest of March. St. Patrick's Day. Oh, we should probably do a Celtic tune for next week. Well, not that the Celts and St. Patrick were sort of related, but kind of hovering in the same geographical part of the world. So, okay, have a good weekend, and I will be back next week.